Hey guys, it's Adam from the Dimensional Gaming Squad here, bringing you with Battle of the Beasts episode 35. Carnivora, the Winged Scavenger, versus Brutus, the Hound of Horror. Now, I need to say, both of these beasts, honestly, I would have wanted in round 2. But, unfortunately, due to unfortunate random picking for the setup for the matchups, Carnivora goes against Brutus in round 1. These two are basically the equivalent of one another. Both of them being based off dog-like animals, so a hyena and a wolf. Hyenas are cats, aren't they? I actually can't remember. And they both have wings, and they both give out either toxic gas or kind of like a heat wave from their mouth. Sharp claws, both incredibly agile, and my favourite beasts from Series 7 and Series 11. So, I'm not looking forward to this one because I don't want to see any of them go. I don't want to see one of them not make it to round 2. But unfortunately, one of them will have to go. If I got to choose the matchups, both of them would be through and Tusk would not. But that's just my opinion. Okay, so Jesus Christ, my opinion is going to get so much hate. Anyway, let's get right into this. The fights would take place. One took place in an Arctic area, but Carnivora would do best in the Central Plains. Brutus was in, I think it was in on a mountain area that got led into a village where it got defeated. But I mean, I don't think it really matters where the battle takes place because I know which beast is going to win because it's really obvious. So let's get right into it, and let's say the battle takes place in the Central Plains. Let's say the Central Plains. So we open up in the Central Plains. Also, Carnivora's cubs are not allowed. They can't compete. They can only watch their mother fight. So yeah. Great! No kids are going to die tonight. Okay, so we open up in the Central Plains. We can say whichever one we want. Let's say Brutus is flying around trying to find something he can sink his teeth into. When he catches hold, when he sets his eye, sets his eye on something that's down on the ground. He can't see it very well, but he swoops down towards it to try and snatch it up with his claws and eat it. That was one of Carnivora's cubs. Not going to be in the battle, just as a kind of victim. Brutus is about to swoop down and grab hold of Carnivora's cub. But Carnivora howls from the right of Brutus, let's say, and distracts Brutus long enough for him to look in that direction and also collide directly into the ground right next to the cub. The cub gets startled and runs away. And when Brutus gets up to try and find the source of that sound that distracted him from eating his lunch, let's say, he sees Carnivora flying towards him at a, let's say, breakneck speed. Brutus regains himself and flies towards Carnivora. They're both about to tackle each other, and they both do. Carnivora says, I think. Oh, I need to check. Hold on. Where's the Bible of Beasts? Hold on. Be right back. I really do this every time. When I'm not sure on which beast is the larger one, I keep forgetting that the book is nowhere near me. Okay, so we'll go to Brutus first. Brutus has, in the Holy Bible, says to have a 244 in size. Carnivora, we'll find out now. 262. The mother is larger than the creepy uncle, let's say. So I need that there for the next battle, and that's kind of obvious. But which one's the larger one? But yeah, Carnivora is the larger beast. So yeah, they both tackle each other, and let's say Brutus gets the strength over Carnivora, and Brutus actually pushes Carnivora down, whilst also Carnivora drags him down with him. They just get in a scuffle, just rolling along the ground, rolling along the ground until they both collide into a rock, with both their heads hitting that rock. They both let go briefly in pain, but when they regain themselves, Carnivora pushes Brutus off of her. Goes into the air, flies into the air. Brutus does the same thing, and they tackle each other again. This time, not actually pushing each other, but more like slashing and biting at each other. Carnivora gets a few good slashes and bites on the face and legs of Brutus. Brutus is able to get some as well, and also a good slash along the back on Carnivora. And Brutus then breathes out his toxic fumes. Carnivora flies right into it, but as soon as she smells that fume, she recoils back in disgust of that smell, and she flaps it away with her wings, so it goes directly back into Brutus. Brutus flies away from the fumes and starts flapping it towards Carnivora. And they both keep flapping until the fumes have just gone in like a big funnel. Like, let's say they were here. Go like that. It's absolutely hilarious. Carnivora then decides to stop flapping and go and use this shield where they can't see each other to her advantage, where she stops flapping and just sneaks under that field to surprise Brutus from behind. Brutus is still flapping at the fumes, but when he realises that the fumes are just going directly that way though, he decides that hold on, something's wrong. So he starts searching around for Carnivora, but he didn't look under himself, and he was surprised when he did. He's surprised to see Carnivora tackle him directly at the underbody with her headbutting Brutus and catching him off guard. Brutus gets knocked back a bit, and Carnivora, at a rather safe distance, takes in a big gulp of air, then breathes out in like a heat wave thing, and that goes directly into Brutus. And if you remember how Brutus died in this book, this starts seriously injuring Brutus. It starts burning his fur off. It makes his wings, burns out his wings, and it just starts incinerating him. Where he's just barely able to fly. Carnivora then flies up to Brutus, sinks her claws into his wings. Well, not really sinks, but puts her claws around his wings so then he can't fly. Breaks, so her claws are around Brutus's wings, and she breaks them, so Brutus can't fly anymore. Then Carnivora bites her teeth, sinks her teeth into Brutus's neck, lets go of his wings, and starts flying up with Brutus in her mouth. And then, just to make sure Brutus would die from the impact, she swings her head around and just drops Brutus, flinging him directly at the ground. He collides into the ground, just barely alive. But Carnivora makes sure Brutus is dead by dispersing another heat wave directly at Brutus, incinerating him completely. Carnivora has won this battle and Brutus has lost. Now, like I said, I'll love it for both of these beasts to make it through, but unfortunately, I had to pick one that I think will win the fight, and Carnivora won. Brutus has lost, Carnivora has won, and that's all for this episode. If you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press that little notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.